Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Time for another brilliant lecture in Native American literature at Sisseton, Wahpeton College. Special edition, South Dakota Humanities Council Festival of Books. And now, the man himself, the brilliant Professor Victor Singing Eagle. Bum, 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 ba, bum, bum, bum. Oh, hello there. It's Professor Victor. Ooh, shiny face. Right. Well, here I am in Spearfish, South Dakota. Look at all the cool books and goodies. Man, this is an Indian nerd's paradise. Um, Over here, what you cannot see, there are more books. I'm going to lift this up for a second and show you what we've got. Books! Books! And more books! And believe it or not, there's supposed to be some native authors that are coming. Let's have a closer look. Muhammad in an antique land. Symposium, something or other. House of Wisdom. I don't see it. I know that there are some native authors here. I should have made a list for you guys. The Essential Lewis and Clark? Let me see if I can hold this up higher so you guys can actually see this. There we go. Little and Often, Trent Pressler. Unfollow, Megan Phelps Roper. I Survived. Smashy McPeter and the Mystery of Room 11. Well, I don't see the native author stuff, but don't worry, I'm going to have it ready for you. And I will do my best to introduce you to some of these new native authors. The Seed Keeper, Diane Wilson. I believe that one might be a native author. I got to double check. Finding the West. All right. So enough of that for right now. Let's get on to what we have on our agenda for today, shall we? Let me pull up a chair and start sharing some literature with you guys. There we go. Grab a chair. Now, I was trying to do this last night from my hotel room, and I crashed and burned fabulously. But this is supposed to actually start at 8 a.m. and it is now 8:36 and nobody is here but the nerd, the Indian nerd. How pathetic can you get? Never mind. Since we're here and nobody else is here, we're going to read. You ready? Now, this is from one of my pals, Tiffany Midge, somebody that I'm always bragging about. Bury My Heart at Chuck E. Cheese's. One thing that you need to know is a lot of times we natives mix sorrow and humor. I believe there was a comedian who once said you have to laugh to keep from crying. And in this case, what I noticed about Tiffany Midge's work is she will often mix the whimsical with the farcical, I don't even know how to pronounce it. And Bury My Heart at Chuck E. Cheese is no exception. Well, rather than me just sit here and lecture at you, let's have a look at what I'm talking about. We open our scene with a funeral. So let me read Bury My Heart at Chuck E. Cheese's. The day of my mother's funeral service, I separated myself from the rest of the grieving throng and hid out in the musician's belfry like a tortured Quasimodo, my grief too hideous to expose. I peered down upon the mourners below, watched my aunts struggling with folding a star quilt, trying to contain it within the casket. The lid wouldn't close. The white pastor believed my mother's quilt was some sort of ancient Lakota ritual. He announced it with gravity and a sense of suspicious distance. Native flute music floated out from the speakers as my auntie struggled to close the lid, both furtively cramming the ends of the quilt into the casket, tucking my mother inside. One of them gestured exasperatingly to the other, and then they both started to laugh. Keep reading. Months before her death, my mother made me promise that we'd bury her in a royal blue pantsuit, her favorite color. She forced her jewelry on me. Take this and this. Here, take this. It is both touching and morbid to accept a dying woman's most personal belongings. Her favorite silver and turquoise earrings, the onyx bracelet, the Black Hills gold rings. She even gave me her little silver buffalo pendant. I wore it to a grade school presentation, and one of the children raised her hand and asked, "Is that a pig?" Now, suddenly, this is something I'm going to point out to you guys. Again, more editorializing. If you look here, this is, again, Bury My Heart at Chuck E. Cheese by Tiffany Midge. You're going to see, excuse me, my voice is going. It's early in the morning. Haven't had my coffee yet. Well, you see those little starred sections? Each one is disjointed from the other. And when I first was reading this, I was like, what the heck? Let me show you what I'm talking about. We've just looked at a funeral. Now we're going to switch over to this. The crucial difference between having children versus having pets is that when your sister's cat gets run over by a car, you can say things like, "She was never very bright." Another section. Wakes lasted for days, my mother says. We get bored waiting around while the old people sat huddled over like crows. Sometimes we'd tell younger kids that the host needed to use the outhouse for extra storage until it was time for the deceased to be buried. We'd tell the kids that it was a multiple facility car accident, lots of parts that needed storing. Those kids refused to use the outhouse after that. Next section. On the day my mother received her test results, possibly for cancer or something, but it's positive. That means you're going to die, lady. Let me keep reading. On the day my mother received her test results, we stopped off at a restaurant for lunch. The waitress complimented my mother on her earrings. My mother laughed. "You want them? I won't be needing them." Okay, we're going to stop it right there because I assume I'm here too early and nobody else is here. Which means I'm sitting here like a dumb Indian nerd reading to you guys, and yeah, I gotta stop. I'm gonna go back to my room, maybe take a nap, uh, and see if people will show up in about an hour or so. Then again, I bet you I'm an hour early because we're in Central Time, and I believe Spearfish is Mountain Time, isn't it? Duh. Never mind. Thanks so much for sharing with me. We'll stop it there at 9 minutes. Have a nice day. Talk to you later.